Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. And Hauser. Oh, sorry. I had to, man. I had to. This is actually great timing because I am approaching WeWork Tel Aviv, and you can get a really great view of it right now because I'm literally standing. Oh, you missed. The sign is blocked. Oh, you can't see it. All right, just kidding. Anyway, I'm at a red light right now, so maybe you can see the WeWork sign. Let me just get a nice angle. It's not easy. I'll just leave it alone. Let me see who's here. Wow. That is a whole lot of people. Cannabis.com. You are quite the loyal watcher, man. I appreciate that. Although I'm not really sure the relevance of cannabis, but you know, it's all good. Good morning. Good morning. Julie, good morning. Let's see who else is here. A lot of friends, familiar faces here. Anyway, so I am at WeWork here. Let's see if I can get the sign in right now. I think I could. Right there, that's WeWork. That's the sign. So I am pulling up right now. I'm gonna, hopefully that means we'll have some stable connection here, as opposed to, you know, when we go in and out. I'm gonna stand right in front of WeWork actually. That's what I'll do. And until I, here's the entrance actually. Let's see if you could. That's the entrance to WeWork. The other side of the gate says we. Anyway, I don't know if you guys are familiar with WeWork, but it's an awesome company that you should do some research on and check out. There is a taxi behind me. I'm not sure what he's doing. He's standing there. Maybe he wants to stand where I'm standing. I don't know. Anyway, so I started yesterday with a pet peeve. And a lot of people actually like my pet peeve better than the whole stream, so I'm going to start today with another pet peeve. And I talked about this in the past when in the context of investors and journalists, but in general, when you're meeting or reaching out to someone, I mean, just why would you not do some research before in terms of just knowing who this person is? I know that for me, it is super annoying when people reach out to me and, you know, hi, hello, I have a new startup and I heard you can tweet about me. Like, no, what? You know, just like open Google or Facebook or Twitter or wherever you want and see who I am, what I'm about. You know, I'm always happy to meet entrepreneurs, but like, that's not, you know, just do a little research, you know, or you know, hi, hello, I want you to cover our startup. Like, what? I'm not like a professional blogger. I don't like, you know, if I write for VentureBeat or The Next Web, I don't cover like launches. Just like do a little research, you know. It's just a pet peeve in general. Like, if it's disrespectful, like to reach out to someone and expect their attention without doing any research prior to reaching out. It's just total pet peeve of mine, completely irrelevant to the topic. But I definitely think that people need to do that, especially with all your resources. You can easily find out anything you want about a person, so do it before you reach out. It's just very annoying. Good morning, Ryan. Good morning, Sharon. Hauser. How you all doing? Wow, a lot of people here. Thank you so much for coming in, all of you. I really appreciate it. Anyway, so I am in front of WeWork, and I'm going to just get straight to the point. And this is some same story for sales. Know your people first. Yeah, definitely. I agree 100%. Hey, Kaylee. What's cooking? Good looking? Anyway, so let's talk a little bit about blogging, right? So it's always the same story when I speak to startups and I tell them, and we're not going to talk about why you need to blog because we've spoken about that. I'm really not going to get into the whole concept of building your brand out and building your name as an authority and all that stuff. We talked about it. It's all on the Pinterest board. There's a Pinterest board of all my Meerkats. I tweeted it maybe a half an hour ago or something. Check it out and you can watch there. Research will probably show that Hillsfold likes meat, drones, and his kids. John, spot on. I like smart people too, by the way. I have a thing for smart people. I really like smart people. I kid you not. Like, to me, smart people are really, I mean, I love smart people. Anyway, so yeah, so I'm not going to talk about why you need to blog, but if you don't know why you need to blog as a company, as a startup, then go look at the Meerkat that I did on that. But let's talk about, you know, so I tell a startup, okay, you need a blog. I sell them on that. They're sold. Great. And then the next question comes every single time. What the hell do I write about? You know? And I'm not talking about now the language barrier. Let's assume for one second you can write English, okay? If you can't write English, then that's another issue, and then maybe hire. I am a big fan of having, you know, the blog and the content written in-house with your DNA as opposed to hiring an outsourced company to blog for you. You can hire outsourced developers, you can hire outsource other things, but generally speaking, the content should really have your DNA. And so I am not a big fan of hiring outsourced bloggers. But if you can't write English, then either someone else in the company can, or you have no choice. But putting that aside, assuming you can write English, what do you write about? That's the question I always get. Hey, Gabrielle, good morning. It happens everywhere. Yes. Reese, okay. So, Shari, good morning. Shari is the one that put together the Pinterest board. She's here, Shari_PW on Twitter. She's great. Anyway, so what do you write about? And then there's another question of consistency. How often do you write? But that's maybe a topic for another time. Basically, spoiler is as often as you can, but that's a topic for another time. And it obviously depends on resources. But if in an ideal world, I would hire someone in any startup, again, in an ideal world, to write all day, right? But that's clearly not realistic because you don't have resources. But consistency aside, what do you write about? So this is my philosophy on this, and this is by no means, science or a rule or the right way, and every other way is wrong, but this is my opinion. This is my experience. In my experience, it's worked very well with several companies, but this is what I think you should do. So if you are selling spoons, okay, forget it. You're selling Barbie dolls, all right? You're selling Barbie dolls. So do you write about your company? Like, this is your company. Do you write about your company? Never. That is literally the worst thing you can do. By the way, someone asked me yesterday if I was sitting still in my Meerkat. So sometimes I'm driving, sometimes I'm sitting still. Right now I'm sitting still. I'm here at WeWork. Let me give you a view of Tel Aviv. This is Tel Aviv, and I'm sitting here at WeWork, and I have a meeting soon, so I am sitting still right now. And sometimes I'm driving, sometimes I'm sitting still, but now I'm sitting still. So you're selling. This is your company. So do you write about your company? Absolutely not. That is absolutely not what a blog is for. And I've lectured about this, and one time someone came back to me and said to me, I followed your advice and it didn't work. I'm like, okay, well, what's the deal? He's like, I opened the blog for the company and I was blogging and I was getting no traffic. And I'm like, all right, awesome. Give me some more details. He's like, I wrote once a month and I talked about my product and I pushed it and I sold it and nobody was listening. Nobody was reading. I then proceeded to bang my head into the desk that was in front of me. I was like, once a month, completely no value. Do not even write. If you're writing once a month, don't write. Just close the blog down and focus on product. Do not write. B, you wrote about yourself. Why would anyone read that? How is that interesting to anyone? Why is that valuable? That is you selling. You promoting. I didn't have to look at their Twitter to see what they did there. It was obvious what they're doing on Twitter. A blog is not a sales platform, just like Twitter's not a sales platform. A blog is not for you to self-promote. And let me just be very clear here. Shalom Hill, have a great day. You too, Melanie. Thank you so much. I'm not saying that if you have a new product announcement, you cannot announce it on your blog. That's not what I'm saying at all. What I am saying is that if I go into your blog every day and all you're talking about is yourself, that, as my dad likes to say, I'll come into your blog and see you talking about yourself. I'll be at your blog twice, the first time and the last time. All right, I'm not interested in you selling yourself on your blog. That's just not interesting to me in any way, shape, or form. Hold on. Hi, hello, good morning. What you're talking about today has my ears perked up completely. What's on the table now at David Lance, New York? Just keep talking. All right, man. I'm on it. So David Lance sells high-end suits, okay? So should he write about his company? Absolutely not, right? That is the worst possible thing you can do. And I'm telling you honestly, if all you're going to talk about is yourself, do not start a blog. Literally do not start a blog. If I have to quantify it, just because people like to be quantifying things, that's important, I would say for every 20 posts, 1 should be about the company. And again, not promoting, but announcement, right? 19 should be about the industry. Now, what do I mean by the industry? I mean as follows. You're selling suits, so do you write about yourself? No. Do you write about clothing? That's like way too broad of a topic, and then you're competing with the entire world. Because there are 5 million blogs or sites that talk about clothing. So you don't talk about yourself, you don't talk about clothing. You talk about something right in the middle. So for example, I was working at a mobile advertising company. So do we talk about mobile? Do we talk about ourselves? No, right? Do we talk about just mobile advertising? What happens when you talk about just mobile advertising? That means that anybody that's developing a mobile app today might come across my blog, might. But that means that anybody that's tomorrow going to, just interested in mobile and tomorrow will develop a mobile app, he's not reading my blog now because he's no interest, because he's not looking for mobile advertising. So you don't talk about yourself. You also don't talk about something that limits you to a very, very small, audience and niche. That's just a mistake. And again, you don't talk about tech. We're a tech company. Let's just talk about tech. That's also a big mistake because we're not looking to compete with TechCrunch and every other tech blog in the world. That's just not what we're doing. So what we did in there, in that specific case, a mobile advertising company, we focused on mobile. It was a mobile blog. Trends in mobile, what's going on, what's next, where, I think I'm being told to not stand here, or maybe not. Just kidding. So we focused on mobile. It was a blog focused on mobile topics. What is happening in the mobile space? What's next? What are the trends? News sometimes. Another thing is news, right? Do you only focus on news? That is not a very smart strategy if you want to have a long-lasting blog, because you write about news today, it's irrelevant tomorrow. Which, by the way, total, I guess, side point, not really side point, but a little bit of a side point. I always talk about this. There are a few pain points that I face as a blogger on the internet. One of them is to get credit for your content, right? So I tweet something, I tweeted a picture and whatever. I tweet something, it gets retweeted, my name is still there, it gets retweeted again. Within like 5 minutes, my name is gone. Nobody knows that I wrote that tweet. Nobody knows that I shared that picture. Nobody knows I wrote that content. It's pretty much gone. Attribution on the internet is completely broken. That's one. Much, much more importantly, and much more painful for me as a blogger, is that I've written thousands and thousands of articles over the years. Thousands. I would say less than 50 of them are news that is a no longer relevant article. The rest are relevant articles, user guides on how to use Twitter or whatever. Maybe 5% of my content still gets search traffic. So search isn't solving the problem of older content being resurfaced. Facebook's trying to do that. A lot of people are trying to do that, but the bottom line is content's getting lost. And so companies like Outbrain and Taboola are trying to do that also. It's a real problem. I met a company last week called Start a Fire. Actually, their domain is startafire.com. They're working on something really cool with that, and stay tuned for more. You can check them out though, but it's sign up only right now. But anyway, that's a real problem, is attribution on the internet and content getting lost. I honestly don't remember how I even got to that side point, but back to blogging. So you don't write about yourself. You don't write about something too broad. You write about something that's your niche a little bit wider, so that you're attracting more eyeballs, people that aren't necessarily today your target, but can become your target tomorrow. And I'm telling you the goal very, very clear. This is the most important point about a blog, about anything you're doing, in terms of content, is not to sell. Will it sell? Eventually, right? Should you measure? Absolutely. If over time you're not seeing an increase in traffic, you're not seeing it, then fix that. But and another thing, right? Don't be naive and say, okay, it's not a sales platform. I'm not gonna let anyone convert. I'm not gonna let anyone find my blog, my app. I'm not gonna let anyone find my website. No, your content should be about the industry. On top of the content, you can have a sign up now, or on top at the bottom of the content, you can have a download my app now. It should be a funnel, the beginning of the funnel to conversion, right? But it should not be a sales platform. Let me convert if I want to, but don't shove it down my throat. If I come to your blog one day and I read good content, I'm coming back the next day. And if again I see good content, I'm coming back the next day, right? And that is how you. Oh man, hold on one second. I gotta get out of here a little bit. I think. Let me see here. Some trucks are pulling up, so I might have to move. Yeah, I think I'm gonna move. So the goal here again is to increase awareness as you as an authority in your space, whatever your space may be. So again, right, you're selling Barbie dolls. Don't talk about yourself. Don't talk about Barbie dolls, and don't talk about kids' toys. That's too broad. Maybe dolls, right? I don't know. Figure out what it is that you want to own. What is the niche that you want to become an authority in? Start writing content as often as you can. I come to your blog one day, I read something great. I come back the next day, I read something great. I come back the next day, I read something great. I'm bookmarking you. And that's it. Now I feel something for you. And now, in 6 months from now, or in whenever, 10 years, I don't care when you do it, you flip the switch on user acquisition. You're running ads on Facebook. You're picking up the phone and calling people to buy your suits, whatever it is. It's like, oh yeah, I read your blog on the internet. I follow you on Twitter. I feel something for you. Right now, I have this sentiment thing going on. It's like loyalty, right? That's traditional marketing. Doesn't even know how to cope with that. It's like I buy something because I see a billboard. I have no loyalty. If their competitor offers me a better deal, I'm out of there. Whereas if I'm reading your blog for a long time, it's a whole different ballgame. I actually feel something. You're providing me value. Remember, it's about me getting something from you, not you asking me to do something. Do not use these things as a sales platform. So you take your niche, you widen your hands just a little bit, right? And you write about something that's a little bit broader, so that it will increase, the exposure in terms of, people who are not your exact target audience right now, but you'll still give them some values that will want to read, so that tomorrow when they decide they want to buy a Barbie doll, where are they going to go, right? Where are they going to, if they want to buy an app or download an app that you're providing, where are they going to get it, right? They're going to get it from you, and not only going to get it from you, but they're going to actually leave the app on their phone a lot longer than they would have had they not known you, right? It's about raising the brand. And let me just tell you that, the big question after this is, how do I get the blog out there? And that's a legitimate question. And don't get me wrong, if you're not getting any traffic after whatever it is, 6 months, then you're doing something very wrong. But as I spoke about the other day with the restaurant comparison to the internet, it's all about volume, right? With all due respect, and don't get me wrong, these guys are talented writers, but Mashable and TechCrunch and all these guys that are getting a lot of traffic, they're not Pulitzer. I mean, some of them are great writers and they're friends, so don't get me wrong. I don't mean to offend anyone, but they're writing a lot of content, right? 50, whatever, 100 posts a day. So they're going to get 50 times more content than a person that writes one post a day. That's it. That's the name of the game. Volume. So the end of what you need to do is you need to figure out what your niche is, widen your hands just a little bit, and own that niche. Become the authority in that space. And let me tell you that, I've told this story many times, so if you've heard it, I apologize. But when Instagram came out, there were so many apps before that did the exact same thing. Instagram did nothing differently. But someone sent it to me. Let me read some questions here. What about blogging as a private person and not for a company? Same rules apply? Yeah. I mean, if you want to own a certain niche, you want to establish your name as an authority in a certain space, just start writing. I'll tell you, that's how I started everything. Dude, you are my virtual mentor. Thank you. Fist bump, man. I appreciate that. Alo Makore. Hey, man, what's cooking? What's a good amount of traffic for a startup for traction? Cannabis.com. You have to explain the question. What is a good amount of traffic for a startup for traction? How much traffic do you want on your blog? That's what I was about to address right now, that exact question. So when Instagram came out, someone sent it to me, and there were 50,000 apps that did the exact same thing, and they didn't do anything differently technologically speaking, but someone sent it to me and I tried it and I'm like, you know what? The execution here is a different ball game. It's just so much better. And I could explain to you, how it's different, how it's better. It's the upload speeds are way faster. It's uploading things in the background. There's all kinds of stuff that Instagram did really, really well. So I wrote an article a long time ago on a blog that actually is a company that pretty much doesn't use the blog anymore, unfortunately, sadly for me. I wrote an article about, what Instagram did differently. I think I'm about to be kicked out of this place. Hold on one second. You rocking it today. Love the explanation. You make it feel like you're speaking to just me, and I know that the others here are feeling it as well. Passion is app something. Oh boy, it doesn't let me see the whole comment, Dave. So I apologize, but thank you for the nice words. I really appreciate them. So anyway, I wrote this article about what Instagram did differently than others. Now, if I had sat with someone, an SEO expert or somebody who's going to analyze search volume and say to me, should you write this article? He would have said to me, no one is searching for the word Instagram because no one knows what Instagram is. It had just come out. He would have said to me, do not write this article. Just don't write this article. But I did. I wrote the article because it was really good content and it was an interesting topic. And so I wrote it. Hold on one second. I'm being kicked out of here. Hang on a minute. I don't want to put on my blinker because it annoyed people. Does this person not want to pass me? It's okay. Jeez. I apologize for that. So if I would have sat with an SEO expert, he would have said to me, do not write this article because you're not going to get any search traffic because no one's searching for Instagram. Fine. I wrote the article, and sure enough, I was very high up on Google, but it was doing nothing for me. There was no search traffic, no search volume. Nobody was searching. Nobody was accessing this blog post. And fine, whatever. I was way up on Google for the word Instagram, though. Fast forward a year, and I'm pretty high up on Google, and I'm getting endless amounts of traffic from a post a year old. Fast forward 4 years, Zuckerberg buys them for $1 billion. Hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people have accessed that blog because of Google, because of a blog post I wrote years ago. Yeah, I'm being screamed at because I'm standing here, but I don't really understand why that's bothering anyone. I hope we don't get cut off here down. I'm going underground a little bit, but I hope that there's still reception down here. Anyway, my point is, guys, that you need to figure out what it is you're trying to own. What's the space you want to become an authority in, and own it. Right? Write as much content as you can, quality content, I'm not saying don't worry about search volume. Definitely analyze search trends, what's going on, who's looking for what's interesting, but don't be like, okay, I'm selling sunglasses, but there's a lot of search traffic for Viagra, or the word iPhone's very competitive. I'll just write about it. Don't do that. It's silly, right? Obviously, don't do that. Wait, what do you do? What do I do? It's funny because I just started this Meerkat by saying, just Google someone. I don't know. I do marketing. I work with startups. I try to provide value to the ecosystem as much as I can in any way, shape, or form. Meeting startups, writing content, doing Meerkats. That's what I do. Having a good time. Anyway, so the goal is to establish your name, not to sell downloads, not to sell sunglasses. The goal is to establish your name, which then leads at the end of the day, whenever that end of the day happens, 2 downloads and 2 sales. But it's a slow process, just like all marketing. Long-term marketing is long-term by definition. So what do you write about? Not yourself, not your immediate niche, and not something that's totally broad. You can't even see my hands anymore, but like really, no, you don't do that, because then you're competing with the whole world. You need to focus on what you're doing, widen your hands a little bit, and own that space, and become an authority and write objectively good, valuable content. Make sure it's accurate, make sure it's written well, but it doesn't have to be Pulitzer, award-winning content that, no, just write good content. That's the bottom line, and write it as often as you can. That is the bottom line. Remember, the goal being to establish your name. I am having a little trouble here in the parking lot, so I'm going to hang up and end this, but feel free to tweet me at any point if you have any questions, and I will try my best to answer them. Peace. And before I get cut off, I'm going to, you know what, wait a second. Hold on a second. Let's see if I can pull this one off. I might get cut off, though. I am underground right now, so I don't know. Let's see. And then I could walk out, and you could walk me to my office. So if I do get cut off, I'll come right back. So hang in there for a minute or two. Apologize for the beeping. That's my reverse sensor. But I think we're still good. So give me a minute. Okay. All right. I'm going to leave and walk to the office, and you'll join me. Thank you for sticking around, by the way. I appreciate the patience. Hold on. Car off. I don't know how there's reception underground, but there is. Audio only. There you go. No shocker there. Just saying how there's reception underground, and there goes the reception. But I will be back in hopefully a matter of seconds. Let's wait for it to come back. Startup Israel. Do you believe in Twitter? So I don't even know how to respond to that question. I'm assuming you mean Twitter. So check your spelling. And if you're asking me if I believe in Twitter, oh Lord. Honestly, I don't want to get upset, so I'm not going to answer that question. But yeah, so I'm out of the parking lot right now, walking to WeWork. Back to our topic at hand. Here's the thing. A lot of times startups say to me, but I can't write so much. How often can I write? The assumption, the premise by which I'm saying what I'm saying is that you're passionate about what you're doing, right? If you are selling Barbie dolls, you better love Barbie dolls. That sounds a little creepy, but if you're selling spoons, you better love spoons. Whatever it is you're doing, you better be passionate about it. If you're not, then don't do it. That's the bottom line. The assumption is if you're working in a mobile advertising company, you should have thoughts on mobile advertising. If you don't, that's another whole problem in and of itself. So you should be able to write. Now again, remember, you're not writing very specific content. Because yes, there's only a certain amount of things you can write about mobile advertising. But if you're writing about mobile, there's endless things you can write about mobile. I'll sit here on the bench and there you go. Tel Aviv. Look around. Here's the Uber office down there. Hold on a second here. Okay. By the entrance to here. Let me read some questions. Best advice to rebrand a national brand to localize that message. You asking me, you telling me? I'm building a B2B startup that simplifies expensing transportation. Sweet. He consults the top custom clothes in New York, even more than he'll admit. I appreciate that, Dave. Thank you so much. I'd love to meet one day, and I'd love to try on some of your suits. What are your thoughts on user-generated content? Again, give me context. Create a mobile site. Oh, for sure, mobile site, definitely. Should I pay $50 to buy an app that lets me create an app? Wow. I need some context on the questions, guys. Give me some context here. I mean, what I think about user-generated content is a little bit of a broad question. I love user-generated content. That's what I'm talking about right now, user-generated content. Wait, is Uber Israeli? No, Uber is not Israeli, but they have, I'm on Meerkat.
Morning.
This is, you want a phone call right now?
What?
You want a phone call?
Yeah.
Okay. That was Leo Romano from Contacts Plus, one of the most popular Android apps in the world. He's just like a awesome CEO, really awesome CEO. Uber is not Israeli, but they do have offices here, like they have offices everywhere. But they are sitting in this building. Asking you, what was the question? Hold on. Best advice to rebrand a national brand to localize that message. So I sat with yesterday. I sat with Move It, a company with 80 million users. 20 million users, $80 million in VC money. They're localized all around the world. And they just really, they do it via the community there. They build out a community there. They really make use of people who believe in what they're doing, and they go and they actually map out the transportation there. So to localize something, obviously beyond language, I would definitely say to leverage the local community there and to get them on board with your passion and your dream. How would you market your company to bring in top talent? That is a fantastic question. There's a startup called Talent Tribe. It's a brilliant startup that basically attacks that problem. It's like, I know that everyone knows that it's cool to work at like Google and Facebook, but how do you market your vibe, your company culture as a startup? And so that's exactly what they're doing. It's called Talent Tribe. It's pre-launch, but they've already signed with some tremendous companies, like the biggest companies you can imagine. He's going to crack that, and I think they're going to be a very successful startup. Wait, asking you. Okay, anyway, back to the blogging thing. So let's just break it down and let's just sum it up here. Bottom line, all right, you don't talk about yourself. You don't talk about something that's too broad and then compete with the entire world. Focus on your niche and widen your hands just a little bit. Own that space, right? Become the Google or whatever, Apple of that space. Own it. That is the goal only. That is the exclusive goal. Through content, become an authority. And I'm telling you, I worked in finance, and I know nothing about finance. I'm allergic to numbers, but my goal was marketing there, and I started writing content. At the beginning, just sat and learned and studied the space, and I started writing content. And within a few weeks, I'm starting to get questions from people about what currency to trade. I never traded a dime in my life. But the point is, through my content, and this was, I'm telling you, a small local company, but through my content, through search, because I was writing very often, people started accessing it, and they basically got nice exposure, and they just started reaching out to me as an expert in my space, and I was far from an expert. Now, I'm not implying in any way to lie to anyone or mislead anyone, but through content, you can brand yourself as an expert, and then, the more content you write, the more of an expert you become, and then the more recognition you get, and again, snowball effect. I tried to find Talent Tribe, couldn't find it. How can I get a lead developer? Brandon, tweet me, and I will do my best to help. I don't know where you are, what you're looking for, but I will do my best to help. Moshe, what's cooking? Good looking. Let me see who else is in here. Say hello to some folks. Moshe, what's cooking? Rodolfo, how you doing, man? Benjamin Lampel, how are you? Melanie, I recognize your avatar. Bill, welcome. Can't say hello to everyone because there's a nice amount of people here, and I really appreciate you coming in. Shari, how you doing? Meerkat logo, who's that? Meerkat retweets. Okay, cool. There's a lot of Twitter accounts that are Meerkat kind of like third-party services, and that's pretty cool. But let's see who else is here. Let's see. Last week when I was talking about Flipboard, Mike McHugh jumped in. That was crazy cool. The founder of Flipboard. Okay, yeah. So there's a lot of amazing. Hey, Shifra, how you doing? Thank you for the video this morning on Twitter of U2. U2 was on, or still is. I don't even know. YouTube might still be live streaming their concert from on stage. It's unbelievable. I literally he's just sitting there it's crazy. It's really cool. Wait, who just said hey? Hey. All right. So that's like I said. The goal here is to own the space, become an authority in the space, and it's not. It might sound like a big challenge and something you have to do for 6 years or whatever. It's absolutely not the case. If you blog consistently, let's say for argument's sake, we're talking a post a day for 6 months, you will see tremendous ROI of that. Tremendous ROI. More ROI than you can imagine. Okay, more ROI than traditional marketing can achieve in a very long time. When I say ROI, I don't mean clicks. I mean branding. I mean loyalty. I mean customer, I mean awareness. I mean, and in a lot of ways, these things can help with customer support as well. U2 just ended. That's crazy cool, right? I mean, it's a new world, guys, right? U2 is streaming their concert on this app created here in Jaffa, Israel. It's crazy. I mean, Meerkat's a tiny little company. Well, now they raise big money, but it's still a small company. It's pretty amazing. My hair looks kind of funny. Anyway, so this is like a public mirror. Yeah, I'm loving Meerkat, as you know, and you can see all my Meerkats on the Pinterest board that Shari created. It's really quite awesome. And as always, I'm saying if you have any specific topics that you think you want me to try to address, if I know anything about it, I'll be happy to do that. Always looking for cool topics. Definitely passionate about a lot of things when it comes to marketing and content and startups and everything like that. So just shoot me an email or a tweet or whatever and be like, talk about this topic, and I will try my best to do that. But I hope you understood the point about blogging. It is not a sales platform. Neither is Twitter. Just use it, provide value, write as often as you can, good content, not about yourself, not about the entire, world. And definitely, if you're selling, again, you're working in, let's say, tech, and you're trying to get downloads for an app, don't talk about ballet, right, guys? Remember, focus on your niche. The goal is to own your space, to become an authority, and do it through content, and it works. It works. I've done it many, many times. Is that true if you start without a fan use? Oh, absolutely. When I got to the job that I worked at before this job, the blog was pretty much non-existent. I didn't have no followers, but I didn't have a lot of bites. I don't know how that happened. I'm sitting in the same place. Tweeted at you. Cool, Brandon, thanks. But absolutely, in terms of not having an audience, that is how you build up the audience, right? That's how I built up my audience. That's how most people that I know who have a good organic audience built up their audience, through content. I don't know why we're on audio only, but it's kind of annoying. You inspired me a lot today. We'll blog more now forward. Thank you so much, Melanie. I really appreciate that. I really would love it if video would come back. Oh man, this back video. It's so annoying because when I save this video afterwards, it really, there you go.